You guys are in for a long one today. This week is going to be super awesome. I'm super excited about it. We got a lot to talk about. So, my buddy Warren Marlowe in this episode, I just realized I'm not even mic'd up. So, hopefully, you can hear me okay. I'll mic myself up for the second piece. But we're just going to roll with it right now. So, my buddy Warren Marlowe joined me to discuss some wrestling. And so, we dive into a bunch of different stuff going into this week of WrestleMania. This week is huge, though, because we've got Olympus. We just came off of the absolute craziest Croatia ever, at least in my opinion. I feel like the facts back that up, though. So, wild rally this past weekend. Great rally coming up this next weekend. And we're kicking it off on Monday with an episode of Tin Roof Podcast. Pretty sweet, in my opinion. Must be yours, too. But I don't want to keep you too long on the front end. So, just so you know, we're talking wrestling through the majority of this podcast. Towards the end, we talk some rally car. So, here we go. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Tin Roof Podcast. It is WrestleMania week. And so, because it is WrestleMania week, we are going to chop it up about wrestling. I brought in a buddy of mine. He has the Buzzing With Marlowe podcast. The Commission Talks was actually one of the first people that I got to do an interview with to promote my comic book Making Tracks. And he is one half of the fictional tag team The American Way, Mr. Warren Marlowe, a.k.a. the American Prodigy. Welcome, dude.
Hey, man. Hey, how's it going? Hey, we're defending champs. Defending champs. I thought I retired, but somehow we're still there. We're still there. We're gonna stay undefeated because I'm retired, so I ain't coming back.
Yep. Yep. So, well, I don't want to waste any time, so we're gonna get into the card right away. What is your thoughts since they went to the two nights? Is it too much? Is it enough? Is it?
Well, I'm a guy that was at WrestleMania 33, and I was there from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to almost 1 o'clock at night, or 1 o'clock in the morning when it was in Orlando. And you got to remember, that's the one where we all thought The Undertaker was retired. Like, that's the one, quote-unquote, Undertaker's worst WrestleMania match at that time. And I remember when that happened, I'm just blown away from the whole show itself. And when they even made the announcement with COVID, it worked on COVID time, definitely. Because, dude, you're not going to be able to watch a whole WrestleMania card with no crowd in the stands. And, just the whole thing. Now, when they came back at WrestleMania 37 and stuff like that, it worked. It's had its good time. But honestly, I think it is good because of how big the card is now. Like, you can get more talent on a card, more main events
a stacked roster.
In essence. And it, oh yeah, man. Like I tell people, man, we sit here and talk about guys that are not getting pushed or whatever. I'm like, man, it's because the next person in front of them is just good. It's just the real reality of it. Like, that whole roster, if you're missing one step, you're probably not coming back up until you get that shot.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And so, whenever you look at Saturday's card, we'll start with it. You got the Undisputed Championship match, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. This, on WWE.com, I don't understand why they did it, but they did it where, the main event is at the top, and then it goes down to, the first two matches. So, you got
I didn't even see that. So it starts from the last match all the way down?
Yeah, well, you, like you're going to be able to read it, but yeah. So then Stephanie Vacqua.
No, I'm about to go on it right now.
And
okay.
Seth Rollins and Gunther, and then AJ and Becky, and then the women's tag match, Nia and Lash Legend versus Charlotte and Alexa versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and the Bella Twins.
Okay.
And then
that's
this is interesting. So, I guess instead of doing the kickoff show, the first two matches are going to be featured on ESPN2, which is the unsanctioned match with Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, and then the six-man tag match of Logan Paul, Austin Theory, IShow Speed, and
against the Usos and LA Knight. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty strong card.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's just Saturday.
Doubt. And there's
What
two
was your
matches
thoughts?
that are going to be for the first hour, right? Two
Yeah,
matches
yeah.
is going to be on ESPN, just regular ESPN.
Two ESPN two, which that's the Jacob Fatu versus
Okay.
Drew McIntyre match, and then the Logan Paul 6-man tag match.
Hey man, for free $99, you can't beat that.
No, no. I mean that's
We didn't even get that for Sunday
I,
Night Heat for back in the days. Like honestly,
no, no. We got there would be like one little like vignette or promo or whatever where somebody would say something or like
mm-hmm.
somebody would get attacked or whatever. Like I remember, what was it? Was it? It wasn't the I Quit match. Was it the last man standing match that The Rock and Mick Foley had? And The Rock attacked Mick Foley on Heat, and like that was the one thing that happened on there. And then like every once in a while we would get the hardcore title like defended or whatever on Heat, but Heat was almost as bad as Metal. They both were like the. It was almost as if WWE went, all right, we have an hour to fill the TV. What do we do?
Yeah. I remember when you do the live events, it was Velocity if you were at SmackDown, and then
Yep.
you were hoping you get to go to a Monday night just so you can be on Sunday Night Heat because Sunday Night Heat was so nostalgia. But yeah, man, I mean that's crazy. Like the way wrestling is now compared to what it was back then. Like how much it's more focused on the in ring work than just the show itself.
In talking about in-ring work with Logan, the dude is a YouTube celebrity, YouTube star, whatever, and the guy does absolutely amazing work. Has like actually put in a ton of effort to like be athletic. Stoked that Pat McAfee was the person that Orton was on the phone with, or were you hoping for somebody else? Because honestly, I was kind of hoping for like Kevin Owens or somebody.
Well, I would say this: don't fully think that that's just Pat McAfee. It could be Kevin Owens, but Essence. I mean, we were just talking about his merch earlier. This has got to have a storyline where he's putting his foot into either night 1 or night 2 main event. I think when and I've had this on Commission Talks, and we just had a recent episode just today, and one guy was saying he don't know why Pat McAfee's with Randy Orton, and I made this great example of think of John Cena. As much as we wanted John Cena to be a bad guy when he was in that nostalgia Super Cena era, it don't work now because, I mean, you've seen Cena for X amount of years. You've seen him do it. You want to see him win that 17th title. That was the main thing that we all wanted to see when he did his return, when he was doing his comeback tour. We all knew he was going to get 17. Now, did we know how it was going to go down the way that was? No. But it was just the fact that you were not going to be able to boo John Cena. And you could tell Cena was getting overworked on it because Cena could only do so much with so much talent to try to have them boo him, and they're just cheering him on. The only time he really got booed was when he was facing R-Truth. Like, I mean, real reality on this standpoint. And then, obviously, you know, what he did with Cody and stuff like that. I still say Cody and him had one of the matches of the year on SummerSlam.
That was a really good one.
Pat McAfee with Orton. I think Pat McAfee with Randy Orton, it makes Orton the bad guy again. Because now you have a reason to boo this guy. Because like they just said, the stipulation of a match. You can't stand Pat McAfee. We used to love Pat McAfee. We used to be head over heels for Pat McAfee. But Pat McAfee is a heel at its finest. If nobody remembers, go see the work that he did with Adam Cole in NXT, man. I looked at that, I was like, man, Pat McAfee is born to be on a microphone in WWE. Like, I didn't care how they were doing it. Obviously, when they did the commentating and stuff like that, it makes sense because one, their TKO is owned by ESPN. So what better way of a guy that saves College Game Day? You and me both. I know we watch college football, and we got to be honest. When Lee Corso left College Game Day, we thought College Game Day was gone. Like, there was no characteristics to it. It was just going to be a basic analytic thing like you see on SportsCenter. But no, you bring Pat McAfee in. I'm a Miami Hurricane fan. Still to this day, they're talking about Pat McAfee going off that long dive and jumping off of there, choosing Miami Hurricanes to beat the Florida Gators. Like, it's those things that he does extra that makes a crowd just react. And what he's doing right now, he's making you react. And more importantly, he's getting the crowd way more behind Cody Rhodes, that the ones that weren't really on Cody's side now are back invested into, yeah, Cody, you got us back. You got us back. Like, it's those reasons that the purpose of a manager that makes a match meaningful, which, reality, we didn't need Pat McAfee in this match, but now it builds the heat factor with Randy. Because now the fans can't just randomly cheer for Randy just because he's Randy. Because Randy's fighting for Pat McAfee, you're going to want Randy to lose now.
It's actually a really good point that I didn't even think about that because, I mean, I don't get to watch all the time because I got to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning on, like, work days.
Bro, I'm on YouTube. I can only watch it on YouTube.
you don't do the Netflix?
Sit here and sugarcoat it. I will tune in when I have a chance. I'll tune in when I have a chance. I am so busy now with my kids. Now with my daughter playing sports, school, I'm working, all this, like, and my wife's
Instagram
extra
is
stuff
the highlight
right now.
reel.
Like, I am. Oh my gosh. I mean, it just amazes me when I see the negativity what fans bring into this stuff. I'm like, dude, we're at this peak moment. The thing that makes me mad about fans. Wrestling fans act like it's you have to be a wrestling fan, but at the same time, you're not a wrestling fan if you don't know anything about all the wrestling. Not just WWE, not just AEW. You have to know all the wrestling. And if you're not part of the club. And I think that's the worst attitude we got with these people. Because, man, we got this thing on ESPN right now, man. We have wrestling promoted everywhere. I can't not turn a channel and not see a WWE superstar in a commercial now. Like, looking at a branding's perspective, you're going to tune into wrestling regardless because you're looking at Jey Uso's Cricket Wireless commercial and you're just like, man, that song looks cool. Let me go and see this man. He's out there just bumping and thumping his round. You know, you see Penta trying to do his taxes. I am not a Penta fan. That crap right here I cannot stand. That's the only reason why I don't like him. He doing this all the time. I can't do it. Stephanie Vaquer, just a beautiful, beautiful woman. It's these little things, like, I would say, that bring an audience to watch a product. That's just my opinion. And we need to open with open hands, man. We need to open with open arms.
Yeah, because, we both grew up whenever The Rock was, like, the big guy. And back then, whenever The Rock was wrestling, there really wasn't there wasn't many of us. And, like, compared to today's standards.
I got teased when I was a Rock fan, dude.
Oh,
I got teased. Yeah. I got teased.
You know that's fake, right?
Because of the Stone Cold Nation. Everybody was like, why didn't I like Stone Cold? Why didn't I like Stone Cold? I was just like, man, because everybody likes Stone Cold. Like, I couldn't relate to this guy because my parents raised me to like, hey, man, beer, don't drink, don't do all that. And I'm sitting there watching this bald-headed guy just sitting there throwing beers back like it's nobody's business, flipping everybody off. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, this is what my parents told me not to be. Like, and then I see this guy, sunglasses, Versace shirt, coming out there in dress shoes, beating these people down, throwing his hands up, spitting on his hand, smacking them down. I was like, I like him. Because honestly, he's not that bad. He's not sitting here drinking
funny.
Beer and all this. I can relate to this guy. I like it. And he was hilarious.
Speaking of Stephanie,
yeah,
though,
man,
I do hope that
because I was a Rock fan.
I didn't get picked on for that. I got picked on because I was a fan of wrestling, period. But honestly, between Stephanie and Liv, like, Liv's a fantastic wrestler and all, but I do hope Stephanie keeps the belt because this has been a really good run for her. and I would like to see her hold it for a little bit longer. But I guess if she did hold on to it, she would probably end up holding it until like SummerSlam at that point, because that seems to be the way they do things.
I mean,
They
that's
have
another
a
4
tendency.
months. That's another 4
Yeah,
months.
it's a very lengthy run.
I mean, you're
I
the
know,
first
but
person to say that I've talked to lately, because everybody keeps saying something about Stephanie and stuff like that. And I mean, she's doing her part. I mean, she's elevating the crowd. She's getting a reaction. She's doing her things. I mean, my buddy Dre, a shout out to my commission buddy, Dre on Wheels from the 1130 podcast. He doesn't understand Stephanie. He always asks me, he's like, what's her character? And I said, you know what? I don't know. But I mean, look appearance wise, I mean, as a dude, we're not going to sit here and go, we don't like you. You know, she's dressed in this little devil horns thing and, you know, whatever. But I'm sitting there looking at him like, man, she remind me of the X-Men character Psylocke. So, I mean, you going to get the nerd fans, this comic guys that come in and watch this and be like, hey, man, this is Psylocke if she had that. And she's sitting there beating people. Like, you know, it's like these little things I think is really cool. Stephanie doesn't have to be on the microphone. I feel like she does need to work on being more on the promo standpoint. And I listen to Busted Open regularly. That's actually how I really keep up with wrestling. And they said it at its best. A lot of the talent, as good as they are, they're not microphone driven. They don't really work on the promo perspective. And that's why a lot of them are only just labeled as wrestlers. They're not the performers, the superstars, because they only got one layer. You got to have both. And I think Stephanie, she's getting there. She's getting there. And the stuff with her and Liv right now, it's been interesting.
do you think the lack of promo skills, because like whenever Dusty was alive and was at NXT, that was something that they worked on very heavily, was the promos. Do you think that is something that has been lost since his passing?
Me being on a tryout, and that was like the first thing you did on day 2. I don't think it's been lost. I think the fact is a lot of the wrestlers are more comfortable, and they just see it as, hey, I'm gonna just showcase my talent. I don't have to be on the microphone and stuff like that. But then when they're on the card and they wonder why Cody Rhodes is getting more airtime, they wonder why Roman Reigns is getting more airtime, they wonder why CM Punk's getting more airtime, it's because they know how to run a microphone. And I think, and then in a place they get that complacent time and they're not working on their promos. They see it as, hey, I'm already there. What else do I need? I mean, great example, LA Knight. I think LA Knight's better on the microphone than he is in the ring. That's just my honest opinion, because I feel like LA Knight, when he's in the ring, he messes up his own moments. If that makes sense. If anybody has been in the ring, you know what I'm talking about. Like when they were talking about on his Unreal documentary, they said the little ladder match gimmick that he went up a little bit too fast. A great example, the Royal Rumble. He should have had that moment where he eliminated Brock Lesnar. Jey Uso's entrance got the whole highlight out of it. You barely even saw Brock Lesnar get eliminated on ESPN. And that was another moment that he messed up. And I've noticed that it's an ongoing thing with LA Knight. LA Knight he's getting these times, and fans are getting mad saying, hey, he's not getting this push, But at the same time, LA Knight is messing up those quick moments, because I don't know if he's overwhelmed or if he's just constantly thinking of the spot in his head, or the fact that he's like, hey, man, he's probably got the fans in his head too. He's like, hey, man, maybe they're right. I am this good. I'm whatever. But those little bits that he's messing up in those matches is what's hurting his credibility to grow as a superstar. And I think that's something that a lot of people should take grasp of. You can't just be good at one thing. You have to take these things that go with it. Like we're seeing Stephanie Vaquer, we're seeing Penta, we're seeing all these guys getting these commercial times. You have to be more than just a wrestler. You have to be. We have to showcase this thing on ESPN. You got to be on the ESPYs. You got to be on the Academy Awards. You got to do all these things to represent WWE. You cannot just be labeled as a wrestler anymore. And that's just the thing. And I think wrestlers are getting shunned about that from fan base when it comes to that, because they're like, oh, they're forgetting where they came from. Not necessarily. You're telling me you're judging them based off of them wanting to grow and to actually get paid very well for something that is not promising at any way of necessary. I've been retired for 2 years and I'm still having bad back pain from what I did in the ring. So it's like, I can only imagine what all them do, all they have to endure and stuff like that. And to sit there and just scroll on social media to see all this stuff all the time. So definitely the promo work has been a little lackluster at times. Definitely agree with that.
Talking about the back pain, that is a very real thing because, how many guys have we seen get into trouble for drug use and everything like that? They're in pain all the time because, their body's going through, to put it in like car accident perspective, a lot of times. Or not a lot of times, I said that wrong, but like, probably 20, 30 mile an hour accidents.
You said right.
Constant.
You said right. You said it right. We literally say that all the time. It's like you've been in a car accident. Like, people look at us like, how do y'all do that? How outrageous could you be to do this? And I tell them, man, it's you gotta love it. It's like that toxic girl that you know is not good for you, and you're gonna still try to do anything to impress that person, even if she says no to you. You might one up it one time, and that's how I call pro wrestling.
So Sunday's card: CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley, the Return of the Demon with Finn Balor, and he's going to be against Dominic Mysterio. Sami Zayn is defending the U.S. Championship against Trick Williams, and then these two are actually featured on regular ESPN: Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, and then the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, which is Penta, Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio. They actually did a typo on WWE.com. They said JD McDonough versus Rusev. So I guess JD McDonough has to beat Rusev twice in order to win the match.
Holy cow. Shout out to JD. He's getting a lot of airtime, that's for sure.
It's the dome.
I'm more interested to see. I know everybody, and the thing that drives me nuts with fans right now, as good as that card is, everybody's like, "Hey man, I can't wait to see the Oba and Brock match," but they're not looking at it as, "I can't wait to see the match itself." They're just wanting to know what the finish is, and I feel like that's what hurts it so bad. Like, you want to get that anticipation, like. We need to go in there and watch a wrestling like we watching a movie. Like, I always use Avengers Endgame, the best reference. Infinity War. It left a cliffhanger for you. What did they have to do in Endgame? They had to reverse a lot of roles. They had to bring all these things and got you anticipated for 3 hours watching a film. 3 hours. I've never sat through a movie for 3 hours to do this. I had to take a break watching Harry Potter, for crying out loud, for when it was 2.5 hours. But for 3 solid hours, I'm invested watching these superheroes just go back in time just to beat one guy. One dude. They've beaten all these other people in the past, but just need to beat this one guy. They had to mess up a lot of things just to do it. I want to see that in a wrestling match. I want to see the growth. I want to see the person struggle. I want to see the person get advantage of. Take that whole mentality just to bring an investment into that product. What Oba and Brock Lesnar's match is going to be, I feel like it's either going to go 2 ways. One, it's going to be like the Goldberg squash. It's going to be 30 seconds. Oba just dominates Brock Lesnar. Makes a statement, proves that he is the biggest attraction right now. And it's even better because it's on WrestleMania territory. And if we don't remember what happened at WrestleMania 30, Brock Lesnar did the unthinkable, beat the Undertaker's streak, and became 30-1. And I think that would even be more storytelling to find out that Oba just dominates Brock Lesnar. Or they could go with 2. Oba fights completely strong. Brock is fighting underneath. And the story is going to be that Brock gets one suplex. One suplex. I don't know how the ending could go. I'm hoping Brock doesn't win. Because, I mean, in reality, we know he's going out the door. But at the same time, we need to make Oba. That's all I'm focused on, is make Oba. Y'all have got this guy thrown to the hills right now. You putting him in with Brock Lesnar, make it make sense, and make that growth for it. But I'm not going to be one of these fans that's going to sit there and go, I just can't wait to find the finish. I just want to see the match. Because it's going to be a match that we're going to literally look at Brock struggling through the entire thing. Or he's just going to get decimated. It's one or the other.
Very true. Honestly, I'm hoping that they do a little bit more of a storytelling than the 30-second matches. Obviously, they have their place. But, I mean... The Intercontinental,
it is in the
because
first hour.
Says,
it's in the first hour. And
yeah,
they got 2 matches with that.
That's what I was looking at. Because, I mean, are you going to make an Intercontinental Championship ladder match take 45 minutes? And then, I mean, the entrances are going to eat up, 5-10 minutes there?
That's
and
the
then
average.
Just
Penta's entrance is going to average up to almost 6 minutes just for him to moonwalk down the ramp. So,
whenever he was at Lucha Underground, loved him. Whenever he was on the independent stuff, loved him. But whenever he did come to WWE, I was super excited. But then, the walking, I love this Cerro Miedo thing, but to do the walk and everything else, it takes forever.
No.
I just, get to the ring, please.
No.
No?
I remember when he did the run-in. When he did the run-in, he did the moonwalk. I was like, yep, that's it. That's it. You messed it up, bro. You messed your
the modern day equivalent of the Jeff Hardy, coming down the ramp.
Just sitting there dancing while the dude's just getting pummeled. Like, hey, man, you gonna come down here and help me or what? Penta gonna get blown up doing the moonwalk, sitting there doing it with everybody. And the crowd, and I love that part because the crowd's looking at him like, dude, there's 3-on-1. You're over here moonwalking down here. You need to get down there. I appreciate you high-fiving me, but he needs your help.
Let's go. What about Punk and Reigns? What do you think is going to happen there?
I know everybody goes on the record knowing I am not a CM Punk fan. I never will be. My take on this match, nobody needs to win. Roman don't need the title, Punk don't need the title, but somebody's got to win. I feel like Rock can get involved in this story. It makes sense for him. This could headline to him and Roman, or him and Punk, something. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they try to run it back, knowing Punk wants to run every match that he's had in the past back. If Bryan was there, I'm pretty sure Bryan would have 5 matches with Punk if he was back. It's a hit or miss. I feel like there's going to be a lot of shenanigans that happen in that match. Fact. All right, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Because it's not just going to be those two one-on-one. Because we already got the Usos and all of them being involved. I feel like I feel like a whole Samoan family is going to come down to invade something. The question is Punk going to have the locker room help him, or are they going to be like, hey, man, you got yourself into this? But I think the story to this is going to be ESPN versus WWE. And we talked about it on Commission recently. We were talking about this build with TKO and WWE. We are talking about TKO way more than we ever have. What was the reason we did that in the past? Because we build a story with it. And usually WrestleManias are ending stories. I feel like these are the beginning of stories for this WrestleMania. Because I think what Cody said on his best when he was talking about the podcast about WrestleMania, pound for pound, in ring work, this is one of the best WrestleManias you're going to watch in a while. In ring work wise. Because that tells me right there, there's a lot that's going to be going into this. There's not going to be ending chapters. The only chapter I feel like is going to end is Drew and Jacob. Fact. I mean, Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. Sami, I feel like he's going to go just absolutely bonkers and go nuts and feel like, hey, I've done everything the right way. Y'all don't like me. I don't care anymore. I don't care. When it comes to these stories, I feel like a lot of beginnings to these things. The Rhea and Jade, I don't even know if there's going to be an end. I didn't even know there should have been a beginning, honestly. But I will say, Jade did a good job with Io Sky last night. And we don't get to say that much. Jade actually had a really good match. But other than that, I mean,
I think Bleacher Report ranked it like B-, which was one of the highest rankings of the show in its entirety.
And for a Jade Cargill match, I mean, she did really well. I mean, Io makes you look good regardless. Io is a small Asian woman that knows how to fight. And for a woman that does this and gets over that way, I got major respect for her. You can just sit there and point at yourself screaming, hey, me, and the crowd goes nuts. You're doing your job. That's it. When you ever do something stupid and make the fans react to it and make them actually doing this, that's when you know you're doing your job. Something I learned in wrestling school, man. The easiest stuff, the ones that don't have to bump the much, are the ones that grow.
Oh yeah, I forgot Danhausen had his first match last night. I was looking at the results. Oh, C+ for Jade Cargill and Io Sky.
Danhausen.
You know, I do find it entertaining. Do what?
I said, what a growth that Danhausen's got. I mean, did we ever see this man this much on TV in AEW? Ever?
Nope. You know, I find it really, like, one thing that he does that I really enjoy is whenever he calls CM Punk Pepsi Phil. That's something that I get a kick out of. I know you're not a Punk fan, and you know he's done a lot of things to burn bridges with people. So to not be a Punk fan, I totally get it. And I definitely see where there could be a lot of shenanigans.
Outside. That's the problem. I know the outside because obviously what I did in the past, American Prodigy and all that stuff. And I've had people personally talk about Phil as in general. And I mean, guys that used to work in WWE and stuff like that. A lot of them respected him. But at that time when he left everybody. And it hurt them because a lot of people left shows because Punk wasn't on the card. And, you know, a lot of things really went and translated like that. And Punk, and we all know it, Punk literally physically was trying to destroy WWE for the longest time. And then what does he do? He goes to AEW because he didn't get his way. They didn't sign him when he was on the Fox show because that's what Punk was hoping, that they would sign him. He didn't do it. So he went to AEW, tried to get his resume up again, and then pop, here comes it, here he goes. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you could look at with Punk. And like I've said, even on commission, I even talked about it. As much as I don't like Punk, I'm never going to, don't care what he does, I'm not going to like him. I do like the fact that he has proven that, hey, I'm here because I'm here now. Because when he got hurt in the Royal Rumble, we all expected, if anybody knows in a pro wrestling atmosphere, Punk wasn't going to show up on camera for nothing. Like, if he's not getting paid, he's not doing nothing. And what did he do? He was there for WrestleMania. He built this thing with Drew McIntyre for a minute. It built and made Drew McIntyre a package deal. It made something where Punk actually had something to come back from and make a big story out of, hey, this guy injured him in the Rumble, which it shouldn't have been because it was just a freak accident. But they built this thing and made this thing out. And Punk has went through his growing pains to become that champion. So I will give him his flowers on that scenario. Now, like I said at the beginning, I ain't going to ever like him. So it is what it is. The match between him and Roman, I just don't know how's it going to go. Obviously, I think Roman's going to win. But at the same time, what can you do with a guy that won a title for 3 years? What are you going to be able to do to rerun this whole thing? Like, you cannot run it back to where he's just going to hold a title forever. It won't work. That was the reason why y'all made the product what it is now. So, I mean, I don't know.
At the time,
unless Roman sells his soul to TKO or something. I don't know.
Actually, I'm glad that you brought that back up because I wanted to say something about that too. But with Roman, like if they were to try to have him hold the title for as long as they did again, it definitely wouldn't work because at the time it was almost needed and it fit the piece perfectly. Even though like myself, I really wanted it to end extremely badly because I wanted to see somebody else carry it. It was like, all right, he's held it for long enough. Let's move on and let's put it on somebody else. But talking about the whole TKO thing, it goes back to like, WCW versus WWE or ECW versus the network whenever they did that, on TNN. And so, blaming TKO, and honestly, like, TKO has kind of made themselves villains by how expensive everything is. I don't pay for the ESPN stuff because it's, what is it? The subscription plus another $30. It's like buying a pay-per-view. You think they're charging that much for the storyline? That is some serious like kayfabe there.
I think it is. Kayfabe. Honestly, just for me, look at Pat McAfee, the way he's spitting on promos right now, and the way he just dog crapped on TKO and talked about the prices and stuff like that. I was just like, this is kind of making sense now. Like, reality, if you haven't looked on WrestleMania tickets now, they have dropped drastically.
Have they?
WrestleMania tickets are now making it like, hey man, I could probably think about going to Vegas. I could probably go and plan this out now. Like, Pat McAfee made an announcement saying something that was like 50% off. Guess what? Them tickets were 50% off on WrestleMania tickets just right now. So I mean,
were you checking
this like thing,
ticket sales?
I mean, they look
beforehand?
at storyline. Yeah. And there was a lot of guys on that I do podcasts with. They were telling me like, dude, this thing is real. They had WrestleMania tickets drop. Well, night one, obviously, that's one they really wanted. But yeah, man. I mean, it's an interesting concept, and like we said beginning, they're mentioning TKO a lot, and this is like a Tony Khan thing. We didn't really talk about Tony Khan a lot until Tony Khan needed to be a part of a story. So I mean, put two and two together. I don't know. I mean. Wrestling tickets have been a little outrageously priced. I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to this because, in a way, we got to build up to Survivor Series. And that's something I'm looking forward to because, in a way, we might actually get the old school original Survivor Series 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 elimination tag match, which I feel like needs to get. I'm tired of War Games matches. They're great matches. They've never been a bad one, but at the same time, we're pushing it, and that's what we're making it only be. And that's something I don't like.
They're separate entities, and whenever they first brought War Games to NXT, I was like, this is really cool. I'd love to see the main roster do it. But, after the main roster does it a couple of times, it kind of needs to... It needs to be a novelty thing. Kind of like, it's like whenever people talk about how TNA would do like Lockdown, where every single match was a cage match. Honestly, that kind of worked differently because the cage match is something that they used it as a finality. They worked the cage differently. I don't know. They made it seem different, in my opinion. But with the War Games thing, it is what it is. You can't make it really anything different. It's a great work, but it gets old.
It's got to be the last
like, it's
option.
super cool. Yeah. And, maybe have it go away for a little while, bring back the regular 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, or, even bring in, AAA, or they've got the great... Yeah. They've even got the great relationship with TNA. They could do, 4-on-4 and do something like that, like a triple threat thing, or, whatever. They could do some really cool stuff, and, people wouldn't even miss War Games.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, honestly, and I talked about it on commission, I feel like we're in that WWE is in that WCW era. Like, we're focusing more on wrestling than anything. And it's good and bad because we're looking at it as a sport standpoint, but at the same time, an overall outreach look at it, we're looking at it as like, where's the characters, man? I remember when I liked The Rock. I remember when I liked this because in reality, when you're watching SmackDown, when you're watching Raw, you're looking at the main guys. Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes. If you're a Punk fan, you're a Punk fan. Roman Reigns. You got Drew McIntyre. You got, LA Knight. You got just the original guys that you know for a fact, hey, they're going to be your guys. And I feel like that's what's hurting them too is like, and I remember when Michin came on a promo talking about, hey man, what happened to that group that you were, with the mask on and everything? Y'all had a real good build to that. Y'all could have really done something with that. That could have really showcased y'all. She flat out said, hey, I'm a wrestler. I don't play actor. You have to do these things to get those chances, get those elevations. And I feel like so many talent just forgets that they need to do those extras. Like, yeah, you're there, but you also need to keep elevating to get more. And I think, and that's what ESPN's focusing on, man. TKO is focusing on, hey, man, if we ain't got these guys, we're about to call in Rock. We're going to call in Jelly Roll. We're going to call in all these different guys. They're going to fill these spots because y'all guys are not doing that. And I used to be very bitter about some of these things too because when I was really wrestling, I remember some guys that were like, the local town firemen or whatever, they would take more TV time, more airtime in an indie show than most of us talent. And we felt some type of way. But at the same time, they got a reaction out of that crowd more than what some of us could have done at that time. And that's something I have learned later on down is like, you know what? Is it because we're pushing it or is it the fact that they're not doing enough to get on? And I feel like that's what we're not looking at. And I mean, and it's showing, man. I mean, a lot of fans getting upset about how Jelly Roll's on the camera a lot. But hey, Jelly Roll getting a reaction. Jelly Roll's doing his thing. He's getting all these things. Now, do I promote that he needs the 8 scenes in a show? No. But, I mean, my daughter being an I Showed Speed fan, she's going to watch I Showed Speed whenever he on that show, on that screen. So, I mean, in a standpoint, it's building kids into that audience too. You're bringing the I Show Speed live stream guys into this audience and stuff like that. So it's like it's a all around thing that's just growing, in my opinion.
So what? I tried looking to see like any rumors of like what bands and stuff because I always enjoy it whenever we get to see somebody do an entrance song live, like Motionless in White in the past, Motorhead, Limp Bizkit, and so on. Any theories on who we could see? Any ideas or anything on
I think Downstate,
that or whatever? Downstate? That would be cool.
I think Downstate's going to come out with Cody. I feel like they're going to come out with Cody.
That would
Cody's
be really
going to
cool,
have a real big entrance. A real big entrance.
Yeah.
And I think because as big as a Triple H fan he is, he's going to have like that Triple H Motorhead-esque entrance like Triple H had in the past. So, I mean, I think we could see Downstate performing for Cody coming out. Especially, man, that song is known everywhere. It's crazy. I'm at a warehouse-looking gym, and I hear Cody's song come on 5 or 6 times randomly, and it's just on a regular radio station. So, I mean, it adds up, man. It grows. It grows.
That would be a cool one.
Obviously,
so
Jey
what are
Uso,
your?
I feel like his entrance is going to have somebody. I mean,
yeah, and Little Yachty's coming out with Trick Williams, so it would make sense that Little Yachty would do something.
He a rapper, right?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard little bits of him. I don't know much of him.
I think I know one song by him. Yeah, he came out.
My kids probably know some.
Yeah, he came out with Trick. What was it? He's been coming out with him the past like 2-3 weeks, and so I don't know if he'll get involved in the match. If they're expecting him to do like what Travis Scott was supposed to do, kind of deal. I'm not sure what they're thinking.
That's funny. Good old Travis Scott.
That ended up just being a train wreck, and you were talking about John Cena earlier.
I feel bad,
that dude
man, because fans get I feel bad about it because Cena and Cody get that backlash so bad about that. In reality, that WrestleMania match wasn't that bad, in my opinion. Like, storytelling wise, it was the best heel run that Cena could give you against a Cody Rhodes, and the crowd just wasn't going for Cody. And I mean, he had his little shines that they really were getting up on it, and you could tell the fans were back and forth. But at the same essence, the Travis Scott thing, we were just sitting there like, okay. Now, we know it ain't just you that's going to cause this match for Cena to win. There ain't no way. Everybody expected, obviously, big final boss looking guy, We ain't trying to say no names, but, he has an eyebrow raised. He does, he's got some cool catchphrases, He was pretty good back in his time. But, he was supposed to come out there with Travis Scott, and, it didn't happen that way. And, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I was mad on the finish just because I was like, kicked him in the nuts, and that's it? Like, come on. But, I mean,
hit him with 7 attitude adjustments or something.
Hit him with a 7 attitude adjustment, kicked him in the nuts, and hit him with a title. And the sad thing is, I felt like The Rock watching Triple H against him, and Triple H is constantly winning against The Rock. And I got that same feeling. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. Cena ain't winning. I was like, man, you know what? Cena is probably going to win 17. Like, I was back and forth if he was going to win 17 that night, but I was like, it's WrestleMania. I don't know. And then when he hit him on that title, I was like, yep, this is about to happen. And when that 3 hit, I was just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, they did it again. They did it again. I'm mad. Yep. They stole it.
What have you looked at any of the independent matches for the stuff that's going on throughout the week? Because I think stuff starts Wednesday, if I remember correctly. Like, as far as everybody.
Oh man, it's gonna be packed.
It's gonna be packed.
I know. Dude, the biggest one is Zilla versus Cross. I know that one.
Yep. Zilla versus Cross is one of the biggest ones. There's, Joey Janela's thing that he normally does. Bloodsport. Dude, on Bloodsport, Natalia versus Shayna Baszler. That'll be cool.
Yep. And now Natty's actually bringing that into her main roster character, which is really cool.
She's going to be able to do that?
I'm excited. They're allowing her to do it? I think Shayna's going to get back in WWE from it. Yeah.
That would be cool. I was wondering if...
Yeah, she's been feuding with Maxine, but I mean... Yeah.
Dude, that'd be cool.
I mean, Natty's redeveloped. Dude, I will say this. Natty is the hidden gem of wrestling. Her and TJ, they have their own private invite-only wrestling training over in Tampa. And I've been invited a couple of times. And, man, when I tell you, they pick out everybody. They don't just pick up WWE guys and stuff like that. It's invite-only. There's a limit to it, but they parcel it into their schedules. And man, when I say you're a part of that roster, man, you feel special because you get to train with Angelo Dawkins. You get to train with I remember I was out there. Nikki Bella was coming back from her round, and that's why I kept telling people, I was like, man, don't doubt Nikki Bella, man. I physically saw it, like when I see people trashing Nikki, I'm like, dude, y'all don't realize this woman was throwing guys around in this ring. And I mean, seeing these things and stuff like growth and everything, like they are the best thing for wrestling right now. Like they're picking up everybody, and they're not just one area. Like they're looking at different spots in Georgia, North Carolina, stuff like that, and flying them down to do it. So like they're given so much opportunity, and people need to take advantage of this stuff, especially if you're in this business. Don't just be that hometown hero and stay in that one town or whatever, man. You're not going to do anything. I did that my first run. Absolutely was completely bitter from it. And I was happy with what I did, but at the same time, when I did my second run with El Nino and stuff like that, man, we made sure I made it to where I can be happy with what I finished with. And me going to Georgia, going out to Texas, and all these different things, my last run, I was okay with when it was done. And it was on my terms. It wasn't like, hey, I got hurt and that's it. So seeing these and seeing what the independents are doing now, I just feel like they've got so much more opportunity. You got AEW, you've got MLW, you've got WWE, you've got all these different things to get shown on products and get paid for it. That's the thing. Get paid for this crap. Like, you know, I mean, it's just really cool to see, man. I mean, there's a lot of great talent are coming up. One guy I will talk about right now, he's still very new. His name is Jackson Streets. He's really coming up right now. He's going to get to face, you know, against Josh Breezy. A guy that was trained in the Nightmare Factory and stuff like that. So it's like these different opportunities. And I keep telling everyone, I was like, man, take that moment and just go with it and kill it as much as you can. Don't overdo it. Don't just do anything. Just make the crowd know who you are. And that's something I really wish a lot of talent would look at it to do. A lot of people gave me slack about, oh, I was just this character and that's how I got over and da-da-da. No. People used to get mad because I was the one they were talking about in matches just because I did the extra for that crowd every single night. I didn't charge people for my stuff at first. My first 2 years, I didn't charge one single dime on my merch. I gave it out to fans because I just wanted them to get their money's worth, man. Like, you sitting there spending about $15 to $20 a ticket, and then you're gonna spend $75 on someone's signed print photo just because they were extra on NXT or something like that. Come on, man. Like, I just don't see that appreciation thing. And I never looked at this as this was gonna be my job. And that's something I always took this thing as a consideration of being happy with where I was. Seeing these things and just seeing what everybody's doing, man. And like another guy, Jules Bradley. Jules Bradley, check him out. This dude is going to be a hidden gem in pro wrestling. Dude's old, but man, this dude is getting all over the place. He's been on NWA. There's a lot of talent that are coming into this thing, man. I'm really happy. Even El Nino, man. I don't talk good about this fool, but man, when I tell you this dude brought the best out of me in pro wrestling standpoint, I thought I didn't have a less fortune anymore, and I found him. And him now getting what he deserves and showing that he's showcasing his talent. This is an independent actor, and he saw this as, hey, I want to be a pro wrestler. I want to do this. And now he's seeing that he's getting that growth to continue out and grow off of this. Because now, if you don't know about the WrestleCon that's coming in Jacksonville in June, which it's always been in St. Augustine right now, he's going to be one of the matches. And like seeing these things and seeing that growth, people are now taking a notice to see these things. And everybody used to knock El Nino. And El Nino's doing the extra. He's going in there, paying the dues. He's playing security. He's doing everything that someone asks them to do. That's something that people need to do, man. Focus on really growing something. And I feel like there's so many different ways as an independent talent to grow in somewhere. You've got social media. You've got all these different things. Take advantage of it. Don't necessarily just be that organic person. Hey, I'm going to be in the barnyard in Jacksonville or wherever the heck it is and just think that's going to get over. Do the extras, man. Go to the towns, do the little things and stuff like that. Build your foundation to build that fan base. That's something that I would tell people all the time to do. Focus on building chemistry with an audience before you worry about anything else. And that's something that we don't take in consideration too well in wrestling, especially in the indies. Indies, we're looking at, hey, man, my name's this. I got this. I'm going to see if you keep up, kid. Okay. We're going to see if I drag you in this match. That was how I looked at it. I was like, all right, we're going to see if you're getting a little bit of respect today. So it's like these little things, that's something that needs to be shown in wrestling. And I think it's kind of like what we were talking about in school, man. We didn't get told about taxes or anything like that. We didn't get that until we got in the reality world. I think that's something that we need to do with independent wrestling. We need to worry about building chemistry with an audience before we worry about in-ring work and all this. We need to build that chemistry with our audience. How to be able to feel, to make a match, to make a thing or whatever. And also in the same time, be able to reverse it if it doesn't work. And make it to where the crowd is going to invest into it. And where you don't get lost in the shuffle because you only had one set planned match. And that's all you knew what to do. Like, those are the things that I feel like we need to work on. Just those little bits. But man, I'm proud that the independence is growing. I know there's like 90 promotions that are going to be in Vegas. Probably more. I joked about it. I mean, that Vegas Strip, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a ring in every little block around there. The town is just going to be walking from ring to ring just to work shows.
Basically.
But I'm excited, man.
I mean, they've got shows going on at like 1 in the morning. Like it starts at like noon and it's just all day long. Like 12, 13 hours of wrestling every day, and it's wild. So we're going to start wrapping it up here to go towards the end of the episode here. What are your 5 favorite WrestleMania matches?
Ooh.
I can start if you want.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the first one that I picked basically just because I'm a fan of all 3 wrestlers and because I do like the hardcore title a lot, but I thought it was a good match for what it was, and so I felt like it needed to be up there a little bit. But the triple threat hardcore match at WrestleMania 17 between Big Show, Kane, and Raven. There's a lot of funny haha moments and whatnot in there. You know, Kane chasing them down with the golf cart and everything. But it's an entertaining one, so that's why that one was on there. And then I put so much thought into this the other day, and now I feel like I'm forgetting them. My 4th one would probably have to be, I guess. There's been so many good ones. I would have to probably say though, just for like the one sheer moment, would be Andre and Hogan, where just because obviously we get Hogan picking up and slamming Andre. It's such a big moment, and it's one of the biggest things that has built what we know as WrestleMania now. And then number 3 would probably have to be TLC 2.
Turn it down.
TLC 2. So because like Rhino's now involved with Edge and Christian, and there's just all kinds of crazy things with that. And then honestly, I'd have to say for the next one, probably Undertaker versus Triple H. What was that? 17? Because it was the same year as Hogan and Rock, I believe. Or maybe that was Taker and Flair. But
18.
like that era, 18. So Taker and Triple H, that one was really, really good.
Yeah.
And then number 1 would have to be Rock versus Austin that one was 17, wasn't it? Where it was like had the
that should have been the one that Rock won, man.
Yes. Yeah, so that's one.
That's the one
that
where
I was
Rock
thinking
should have won.
Yeah, I agree.
That one I
but
still have nightmares of.
The 2-man power trip was a cool like tag team. So like getting that out of it was awesome. I don't know. Back then, maybe it was just because I was a kid, but it felt like anything could happen whenever they were going into Backlash, and it was Kane and Undertaker versus Stone Cold and Triple H. It's like, okay, well, the tag titles are on the line, and so is the Intercontinental and the WWF title. What are we going to do if Kane and Undertaker win the WWF title and the Intercontinental title? Who's getting what? Like, because is this going to cause a fight between them two? Are they going to just be like, well, I'll take this one and you take that one? It was fun. It was entertaining.
I'll say
and I think we need to.
Cool thing about back then wrestling to what now is, we looked at it as when they turned heel, we booed them. We booed them. Stone Cold turned heel, we booed Stone Cold. When we did all these things, we booed them. It's like now, it's like being a heel is a good thing. So it's like I agree with that, but at the same time, me being a Rock fan, man, I got, oh my gosh, coming to school on Monday after WrestleMania 17 when I sat there and said, Austin is not beating Rock at WrestleMania. He just got the title from Kurt Angle. He just won it back. He's not losing this. You know how much I had to hear, oh hell yeah, all stinking day in 7th grade in school? Like, come on, man. Like, you felt like your college football team lost that day. Oh yeah, what? All that. I'm just like, oh man. I told my mom I didn't want to go to school the next day. But I like those picks, man. I like how you picked the hardcore match because a lot of people don't look at when they look at it. They look at those marquee main ones. That's something that I do. So I'm gonna go with the first one, number 5, just for the creative it was, and as a big AJ Styles fan as I was, I'm gonna say AJ Styles versus Undertaker, the Boneyard match. For what it was, it saved COVID WrestleMania, in my opinion.
That and the Firefly Funhouse match. It was. I really wanted to put either one in there.
Very good, very good. I'm putting them both together just because it was the same type of visual on it. Yeah. It was a different type of creative mind with those. It was the thing that saved that COVID era matches because the matches were great on COVID. It was just the fact that, come on, man,
no fans.
I'm not bumping in front of nobody. That's training. That ain't happening for me. Like, I'm sorry. I'm a little selfish. My body can only deal with so much. Like what Hogan said, man. I can't not bump in front of nobody. And then you think I'm going to be able to wrestle that same thing that you're telling me to do in front of like 1,000 screaming fans. That is just not the case. Number 4. This is going to be a weird one. Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon street fight. Just the whole build that they did with that, I thought was really cool. And the elevation they did with Trish. And obviously knowing what I've heard of Trish nowadays, I got a way bigger respect for her. I can't believe that woman was married when she first came into wrestling. I'm like, that is the luckiest man on the planet. No offense, I'm a happily married man.
The fact that Shane can go coast to coast, too.
Man.
Like,
and he did it to his dad.
Drop kick that he did.
That was the funniest part. Yep. And I mean, he cleared it too. I remember when I was at WrestleMania 33, which this is bad. We sat there and looked at those double-sided rings that were stacked up in the very big rafters. And we're all wondering, it's like, Shane's going to jump off of that tonight. Shane is going to go up there and jump off this thing. I don't know how he's going to get caught, but he's going to jump off of these things. And everyone that I was sitting next to, they were sitting there like, man, I can't wait till I see Shane McMahon just look like a little ant just falling down on the ground. I'm like, we really are saying this now? We're really saying that we want Shane to go off of that to jump down. And that was the biggest talk of that whole Mania at that time was Shane's going to go up with these 2 rings and try to jump off of it. It was crazy to do that. And then when it didn't happen, everybody was like, oh, man, it was good. But I was like, looking at that thing, how they were doing, I mean, just how Shane wrestled the matches. It made that thing. I compare Shane McMahon and Pat McAfee in a different essence. They're just built and born to be a bad guy in the shows. It's just, that's how they are. Number 3. It's going to be the TLC match at WrestleMania 17 because they had a hard match to follow. That match, that card, WrestleMania card was sold based off of Rock and Austin. Flat out. And they showed that, hey, not only is tag team wrestling good, you going to know about us after this match. And look what it did for those careers. Like, it became Hall of Famers, many champions. You've seen Edge and Christian on AEW, which I'm always going to say Edge and Christian. I mean, that's just the name I know. And what they did with the Hardys. Because, I mean, looking at Hardys, bro, when you look at the Hardy Boys, they were just regular people. They weren't built muscle guys. They weren't anything. They were just regular people that were just flying all over the place. You had Jeff Hardy. You just look at him like, hey, man, there's a ladder. Why don't you just go and jump off of this thing? Okay, I got you, Matt. Hey, Matt, you going to do this? Nah, Jeff's got it. Like, literally, that was the same essence I got with the Hardy Boys. Like, we talked about Team Extreme. Matt Hardy was like the Johnny Knoxville jackass. Johnny Knoxville did certain things that make his name presence on it, but at the same time, Johnny Knoxville was very smart. He's not doing all those crazy things that he would have, what's his name? The Steve-O. Steve-O do all the little crazy things. He let him do it. And that's how I thought when you thought of the Hardy Boys. I'm sitting there like, this is jackass at its finest. You got Johnny Knoxville, that's Matt Hardy, and you got Steve-O at Jeff Hardy. You're going to care about Steve-O more because, I mean, Jeff is putting his body on the line every essence. And that spot that he did when he was hanging off the titles and seeing Edge spear him after he just got thrown off the dangum thing into 3 tables stacked up, I was just blown away. But yeah, that's number 3. Number 2, I want to put a Triple H match in. The honorable mention would be Triple H versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 27. The Hell in a Cell match was storytelling at its finest. Even the WrestleMania 26 was even just as good. And obviously Shawn Michaels and Undertaker is always going to be the greatest wrestling match of all time. But I'm going to be selfish with this. When I was a pro wrestling fan and when he left, I had to find a character to actually be invested in to watch it. I liked Randy, but Randy I knew I couldn't relate to. But then there was a guy that would wear jerseys representing, the word life, thugonomics, and all these different things. And I was starting to like, hey man, I like this guy. He's different. He makes this whole different nostalgia. You get Cena and he grows and carries this company for so long. And then I'm waiting for The Rock to show up for so long. And then on Valentine's Day, I remember it like it was yesterday. Valentine's Day, he shows up, shows that he's going to be the guest speaker of WrestleMania. And we finally got the build to Rock versus Cena. The best build in pro wrestling ever to date. Didn't touch much, but you knew there was something personal. WrestleMania 28. WrestleMania 28 live in Miami. You had Rock versus Cena. I still say one of the best matches of all time. I was up for win, man. I was a John Cena fan until The Rock showed back up. I'm like, yeah, man, Fruity Pebble. Yeah, yabba dabba. All that. I went with it. But obviously at the same time, I'm still a Cena fan when Rock wasn't on TV. So it was like, back and forth type of thing. And then obviously, you gotta say it, man. It's Austin and Rock. WrestleMania 17. Even though I want to say 19 just because he finally won the match. But 17, man, storytelling at its finest. And we're still talking about that match till this day. We talk about Bret Hart. We talk all about these things, but people don't realize, as good as Rock and Austin was, that's why wrestling is so hard to compare to nowadays. Character work and stuff like that, there was nobody that could stand the cup with Rock and Austin. When they say, hey, Stone Cold is number 1, I literally say Stone Cold and Rock have to be together. When they inducted Stone Cold into the Hall of Fame, I literally said, it's cool that Vince did it. Yes, he made Stone Cold, but at the same time, Rock had to be in that little slash in between standpoint because those two made each other. Like, Austin wouldn't have had that long run as good as it was if The Rock wasn't in that place. And obviously,
100%.
Seeing these things and stuff like that. And I tell people all the time, man, like, if you're gonna call Stone Cold Michael Jordan, Rock is Kobe Bryant. And it ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. There's not even a close into it. Those two were just right at the realm and made wrestling what it was, what it is, what it ever will be. And that's why those two are the greatest of all time. Because those two have made it so tough for wrestling till this day to be in that mantra of what they were.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hogan started it, but those two definitely made it into something else that Cena could take to yet another level. And I'm so glad that we got to grow up in the time that we did where we had Rock and Stone Cold. And you're 100% right about Rock's position in it, because Triple H wouldn't have been able to do that for Stone Cold. Undertaker had his own thing going on, and even with what he did, he wouldn't have been able to do that for Stone Cold. You had to have somebody like The Rock in order to get it there. They were in the right place at the right time, but they took that opportunity of being in the right place at the right time and seized it and just ran with it.
Well, we also realized that Stone Cold was kind of selfish on that one. Like, come on, let's just be honest. Like, I know a lot of people talk about, Cena buried this person, that. I like Stone Cold. But Stone Cold has personally said, he's told people, hey, if that match was not what he liked, he said he wasn't going to do it. And, certain things, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, bro, you're getting paid X amount of dollars. This is not going to hurt your character or whatever. I get it. You want to protect the brand and all that. But at the same time, you still got to do your job. And obviously, you can look at The Rock's resume. The Rock's never sat there and said, "Hey, man, I'm not doing this." I mean, look at it. Look at his resume completely. The Rock he announced that he was going to be the WrestleMania opponent for Roman Reigns in Philadelphia, and that just went all downhill, real off the rip. So, in the same time, if Stone Cold would have had that same moment or same essence, like I say it this time, Austin was the guy. Flat out, we all know this. But at the same time, if The Rock would have stayed longer, I feel like we wouldn't even be saying what we say about Stone Cold as much anymore. Because The Rock would have carried that torch way beyond, in my opinion. But we didn't get that long of a run. And I feel like that's why we shun Rock when we talk about him and Austin. It's because, Austin had that long run. But in reality, Austin only had like a 6-year run. Rock was there for that 4-year stint when he got there, and then obviously with the Hollywood standpoint. But at the same time, if Rock would have had that longest stint, would we still be talking about Austin to this day like how we talk about him?
Maybe not. I mean, one of the biggest impact of a match that The Rock had.
I mean, look at the final boss work, man.
Run.
That final boss stuff. That final boss work, man, I literally, as a Rock fan, and the People's Champ era and all that, the final boss was the best persona for The Rock. Flat out. All around.
Agreed. It is great for, like, where he's at with things now. One match that I think that we need to talk about, though, whenever we're talking about The Rock and how awesome or how great of a guy
I gotta do a
with,
definite
like,
honor
handing off the baton.
Obviously in the top 5, in that I would do a slash between Rock and Austin. The only match that comes close to them to this day, which people would be shocked, I say, is Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania 40. That match right there is still gonna be the hardest thing to follow to this day, in my opinion. And I feel like that's what gave them that deal for ESPN, all of that. So I think they're the closest thing that you're going to see a Rock and Austin match to this day.
I think you're right. But the Rock's match at SummerSlam, where he handed the belt off to Lesnar, like before going off to Hollywood, that was like such a big moment that I definitely think that needs to be talked about whenever you talk about like the Rock's legacy, because it was huge. Young up and coming dude, the next big thing and everything against The Rock, and just huge moment.
The sad thing is, man, like how much Rock was chasing to be that guy from Stone Cold, and when Stone Cold left and Rock finally got that, Rock found more success elsewhere, and what we know of. And for him to, give that rub to Brock was very new. Brock wasn't even in there more than a year as an undisputed champ, and seeing what he did with that. And look what he did with Kurt Angle and stuff like that. So it's like, that's where you could tell like the difference from the talent now to what they used to be.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I need to get going personally. So, Warren, where can people find you at? Like social media wise and stuff.
Hey man, you can follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. If it's a social media handle, I'm pretty sure I'm on there. Just type in at Buzzing With Marlowe. I also still have my American Prodigy thing on there, just because I got a good kid fan base and they still like to message me about their days and everything, which is pretty interesting at times. But yeah, man, obviously, like I said before, we just started my son's YouTube channel. So if anybody can, type in Matthew Marlowe, go on Matthew's Worlds, follow on his YouTube. That's something that we're really focusing on growing right now. He really wants to be a YouTuber, so we're going to try it out and see how he does on it. But yeah, man, obviously you can catch me on Commission Talks on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Myself, me, and Dre on Wheels from the 1130 podcast. My last episode I had on Buzzing With Marlowe, I had my good friend Jamie Kennedy. He was actually one of the corners that played in that infamous flag football game the flag football games that were aired on national TV, beating Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and all them. One of the guys I've played flag football with from the beginning, so it was really cool to see the growth of flag football, and the reason of that game was monumental. But yeah, man, I'm just a guy that just keeps working hard and stuff like that. But I'm not constantly on this as like I used to be. But I still try when I can. So just follow the old AP.
There you go. There you go. All right, man. Well,
We're
thank you
still
guys so
undefeated.
much.
Still undefeated.
That's right. We are still undefeated. So thank you, Warren, for coming and hanging out, and thank you for listening, everybody. And we will catch you next week right here on Tin Roof Podcast.
All right, now that I have some sense about me, what happened in Croatia? The biggest reason why I decided we needed to talk about this for just a few minutes is Taka has now went 2 in a row. Totally didn't expect that. Dude, Friday morning, I was getting ready for work. It was a great start to my weekend, in all honesty, because we were going to be cooking some food for the guys at work, so I was super excited about that, and rally, and just going to be doing some amazing cooks this weekend, and just all kinds of cool stuff. Great way to start the weekend, even though I got to get through 10 hours of work before I get there. But have the rally going, and it just started. Like, I woke up just in time for the start of the first stage. Awesome. 5 minutes in, Solberg goes off. Big time. Ends up being out of the rally from the jump, essentially. So retires day 1, and Evans wins the first 2 stages. It's Evans' rally to lose. Anyways, I picked him last week for good reason. The dude is incredibly good on tarmac, and this was going to be no different. So we get into the thick of things. Stage 3, Evans goes off. Big time, into the woods. They say it was a missed pace note or whatever, but you watch him turn the wheel, and the car just goes straight. Like, it started to turn, but then it just goes straight through the corner. Could it be a missed pace note? Sure. I know, like, in certain spots it's real slippery tarmac there. My thing is, though, the tires were already warm. Evans is so, particular and calculated. For him to turn the wheel and the car to start to turn and then decide that it wants to go straight, to me it almost seemed like something broke. Again, just personal opinion. I could be wrong. Been wrong before. But just from what I can see, that's what it looks like. Bummer for Evans, though. Dude's in second place, though. Canaries is going to get very interesting. But before we talk about Canaries, because I do want to talk about Canaries, Payari is the leader most of Saturday. And then he gets that puncture, and then he just is on the just downward spiral. So he goes from first basically to third. Katsuda and Neuville go up. Hyundai's in the lead. What? And from there, Terry does what Terry does, and he defends the lead really, really well. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. If Terry had a good car behind him, the dude is so strong on all the things, especially tarmac. So I'm like, cool, we're gonna get a Hyundai win. Need it. Like, this is gonna be the shot in the arm that this crew needs, especially going into Canaries. Awesome. I watch stage 19 as I'm working out on Sunday morning, and I start to watch stage 20, which is the power stage, and I'm like, cool, Solberg and Evans are through. I need to start getting ready. So lock my phone, set it down, start getting ready for church. I'm ready for church. I unlock it just to
see what the points were and how things fully fleshed out. And the first thing I see is from Dirtfish, and it says Takamoto Katsuda and Aaron Johnston are winners in Croatia. I was like, what did I miss? What happened? I still haven't went back and watched it yet because I've been editing this episode and getting it all together. But it just crazy events, crazy turn of events, and I'm super excited for Taka. What a amazing thing to go from. I'm gonna try my best. Matter of fact, before I fully finish editing this video, I'm gonna go ahead and start writing my description, and I'm gonna put the More Than Machine episode that has Sweden in it specifically. I think it's Sweden and Kenya are in the same one because Taka comes so close at both last year and came so close in Sweden this year. This dude has been on 3 podiums, 2 of them wins in the past 3 rallies. What an amazing season this is. This season has been a lot of fun. There was some predictability last year. There was some dominance last year. There's still dominance this year. Every winner's been a Toyota, but it's been really good rallies. I think whenever we saw Solberg win the first one, we're like, oh, well, that's it, right? I definitely felt that way in a sense. It's like, this dude's not going to be catchable. Inexperience has caught him twice. Other drivers haven't. Inexperience is what's caught him. As he gets better, especially whenever we get to the 27 cars next year, dude's going to have it on lock. So Solberg's championship will come in 27. I fully believe that. That being said, who's to say? Katsuda will be fighting for the championship at this point. Whenever you become a championship leader, you're there for at least a little bit. So he'll be a fighter for this one, like going into Canaries. He'll be a fighter going into Portugal. Where do they go after? Japan. He'll be a fighter in Japan. And going into Japan as a Japanese driver who has now done 2 firsts. Won 2 rallies in a row. No Japanese driver has ever done that in the World Rally Championship. And then no Japanese driver has led the World Rally Championship. And now we have that with Taka. And guys, I cannot tell you how cool that is. I'm excited about it. And Toyota is... The people at Toyota should just be absolutely pumped. And I'm sure they are. A lot to celebrate. A lot of positives. Sammy's time will come. Canaries, I think being first will benefit Katsuda. However, there's a lot of things you got to remember with Canaries, and that's like microclimates and different things like that. We'll get more into that here. Wow. We got this week, and then so we literally have like a week off before we go to Canaries, which is insane. So we have like next week, which Olympus is. So we'll talk about that. And then we have the week of Canaries. So next week, I guess we'll talk about it. Hopefully I'll have time to record an episode. That being said, Olympus. Let's go ahead and chop it up. Well, no, hang on. I want to talk about Hayden Paddon real quick. The dude was Mr. Consistency and got a podium. So stoked for my boy from New Zealand. Big weekend. Otago down in New Zealand, which I really want to go to. And, Hayden getting on the podium. Good stuff for New Zealand all the way around in the world of rally. And that's pretty awesome. So congrats to Hayden. Also, Hayden, if you ever want to come on the show, I'm sure you're not listening to this, but you do have an invite to come hang out and talk on the Tin Roof podcast. Dude, Olympus, Jari-Matti Latvala, coming over from the Toyota World Rally team to run a Corolla Rally 2. That's going to be amazing. Simonuk's in there, going to be in a Ford Fiesta Rally 2. It's getting ready to get real. Like, This is gonna be so cool. Tom Williams coming back out in the Scoto Rally too. Dude, it's gonna be awesome. I'm super happy with the way Olympus is looking. Homie Jim Booth gonna be out there, so pumped for him. And dude, I gotta get back out to another rally. Plain and simple. Man, there's just so much cool stuff going on. I'm very I'm sitting here everybody talks about like how bad 2020 was, or there's even some gripes about 2025. Honestly, 2026 been pretty cool. Obviously you can find negatives in any year, but from where I'm at, from my perspective, we're winning a lot. So here's to us. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out here under the tin roof, and I cannot wait to chop it up again next week on the Tin Roof Podcast.